Hey Taurus, welcome back to Steampunk Psyche. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say I love you. I appreciate you. To all the new subscribers from Taurus, I just want to say thank you so much. Okay. If you are just brand new to the channel or cross watching for your particular sign, I encourage you come on in and check out some of the new videos that I've laid out. Like I always say, Taurus, sometimes these cards they lay out with us, right, in our life, circumstances, things like that. So only put what fits with you. Okay. All right. I'm going to shuffle up and we'll get into the reading. I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but for transparency's sake, I'll shuffle in front of you. Taurus, do keep in mind that I always start your reading with 3 haiku poems. I feel like it is a really cool way to transition into your reading. So let me know in the comments how you're liking them. If you do enjoy them, I encourage anybody to leave their comments about things that are going on in their lives. It's kind of a way of transferring energy. It kind of helps me to know whether or not I need to do, maybe do a follow-up video or something like that. So, all right, I'm going to lay out these cards. We'll talk about the categories and we'll go over it. All right. Current energy, crossing challenge, foundation, recent past, possibilities, near future, the self, environment, hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, outcome, and direction. All right, Taurus, I promise you I'll get right back with you. I'm going to look at these cards and kind of get an idea about what's going on. And while I do, here are your 3 brand new poems. Okay, Taurus. I'll get my voice right. Hopefully, you like the poems. Okay. All right. So check it out. Anytime the reading starts off, right, this way, we're talking about there's some disappointment in this. Okay, so somebody's going to have to be really brave to stick through this reading. It's not terrible. I'm just saying the opening has got some teeth. Okay. But the rest of it's good. We got 2 kings and a queen involved. So we are talking about, for some, this may apply. All right. You're my friends. You're my community. So I'm really going to try to speak the truth to you. I'm going to try to give you as many explanations as I can. Okay. More than one may be watching. So I need to give a well-rounded view. Okay. Hopefully you can stick with me. Anyway, we're going to get started on this. All right. With the 5 of Cups energy, this is you know, this is the one that hits really close to the heart in this particular card. It's carrying a disappointment that may still be echoing in somebody's heart space. Okay, not because not because you're weak. I believe it's definitely because you cared so deeply. Okay, in a situation, and so the 5 of Cups here feels like a moment where maybe you might be replaying something that didn't go the way you hoped. Okay, maybe it was a conversation. For some, it could have been like a breakup, a missed opportunity, that text that never came in, or something like that. But definitely a moment where someone or something, they didn't show up for you the way you showed up for them. Okay, and so this could look like obviously someone ghosted you, pulled back their energy or whatever after some serious intense chemistry. you know um, and it's like leaving you wondering, like, hey, what the hell, I mean, what changed, what Anyway, it's kind of the part that's got teeth. But what I'm getting at is like, um, I don't know, maybe for some you might still be grieving the kind of like that almost connection, right? I don't know. It felt like it may have had, a lot of potential, but it just kind of fizzled away, and it could have been due to like just timing, and for some it could have been like, some emotional immaturity or something like that. But I feel like this is a replay, of the messages, or maybe something that you sent, or that maybe you had wished you'd maybe worded differently or something. Okay. But this has got the comparing of what you gave maybe versus what they gave, and it just has that. It feels fucking unfair, right? So I feel like maybe some of you might be noticing like somebody's social media activity or something like that, um, and it might sting a little bit, right? So I don't know. It could be like, when they watch your story or something and they don't reach out, okay? But this is healing also. Now, for some of you, it could have been a third party situation that may have gotten involved here, okay? And it could be like where, someone just kind of chose their own comfort, right, over passion, all right? So it's like that, the energy that, I don't know, the regret, or maybe that you just kind of pissed at yourself for trusting someone maybe too quickly here, all right? Um, I don't know. This could also represent, I do see in the cards, like I said, the two kings and the queen. It could be talking about like the energetic lingering of somebody as well. Okay, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that you're mirroring that energy, but kind of staying quiet. I don't know, even though you just feel everything. Okay, it does have both masculine and feminine energy here. Okay, so if we're talking about the masculine, it would kind of be in that regret, silence, replaying conversations. Just take what fits here, you guys. But as far as the feminine, it's definitely processing all of those emotions, everything. Okay, the intuition, clarity that's coming to the surface on this situation. As far as synchronicities are concerned, somebody could be seeing like 111. That represents like new emotional beginnings here. Okay, so also for others, it could be like, hey, repeating, I don't know, repeating old patterns, just out of protection, so maybe withdrawing your energies back, not texting as much, anyway, it's kind of got that hermit type, situation as well. All right, we're going to move on though, right? Like I said, it's going to get better. It just, sometimes the readings start off with a little sting, but hey, you're still here. So we're talking about the challenge here, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, this is like, it's the challenge here is believing that you deserve like stability. You would think that that would not be a hard thing to do, but it's because of your own devotion, right? Your own sense of reciprocity that you carry within yourself. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles is the part of you that nurtures everyone else, but sometimes I think you forget to nurture yourself here. Okay, and so I believe that may be why this card is showing up. you know, over giving in connections, hoping someone's going to match your energy. Like I said, it does still have a little bit of teeth to it, but you know, I don't know. It's like you're always trying to be the therapist, the therapy role in relationships, and it's like, and that's not a negative thing. What I'm trying to get at is like, um, in order to find that stability, that you're trying to match that same type of energy. You want somebody to reciprocate that same kind of nurturing into the relationship, right? So you could be attracting people who just absolutely love your stability, you know um, but they just haven't matched you, and so you're not really seeing that on the flip side. But you know someone sees your value, but they're not ready to rise to your level. Okay, so it's definitely got that. I'm feeling like, you're tired of being taken for granted. Okay, so it tells me that you're questioning whether or not someone might be with you for comfort or for love. And so you definitely have that craving for emotional safety. And I hope like hell you're not just settling for the emotional crumbs here. Okay, this could apply to somebody, but just hang in there. someone here, I don't know, maybe feeling a little deeper emotional, and taking accountability for that. Okay. So it's kind of like the eye opening, reasoning with yourself and understanding that. Okay. And you're about to step into something a whole lot different. So the masculine energy has definitely got that, like, under giving, and in the feminine energy, it is over functioning, for sure. For some, they could be seeing synchronicities, like the numbers 444. This represents, protection, definitely of your boundaries. Okay. For others, it could be like, I don't know, maybe seeing synchronicities of like the spirit animal, like the owl or something, which defines wisdom, right? So it would be part of that choosing yourself, type of energy here. So I feel like the timing here, the challenge peaks definitely during like Taurus season. So anytime between April 20th through May 20th, those could be some very significant dates here for somebody. We're going to move on though. We're going to take a look at this foundation. Here you are. Now, this is where the story kind of shifts a bit. All right. This is like the root of your whole situation. You know, this is the wanting something real, something stable, something that's going to last. So I feel like somebody here might be attracting someone older or a little more established. This doesn't have to apply. You could actually, it could actually be that you're the older person attracting somebody younger. That doesn't have to be the case, but I feel like it's got this. There's a financially stronger chapter about to unfold here, and so it's got that, maybe somebody definitely sees you as long-term material, whether that is a younger person or not. There's somebody here that's got, I'm craving commitment, not something casual. Okay. So like I said, the story is shifting, right? Um, you could be like building a business, or somebody could see you as like business potential, like the super dynamic partnership here, right? As well as moving into that love situation, which I'm about to get into. But somebody could be working on a side hustle here, something like that. But it's being more selective with who is going to get access to you. Okay, so you're definitely done with that inconsistent energy at this point. It's like, I don't know, somebody wants to protect you, but they may want to move pretty slowly in this situation. Okay, maybe because they're just trying to match, leveling up to your lifestyle, or maybe, you're trying to level up, or do the same thing, manifest that same type of energy, right? Um, the human behavior in this card just screams like someone may show their love through their actions and not through their words. And there's a reason for this, okay? The masculine energy has definitely that, like that provider type energy. And so the feminine would need to be in the receiving stability. Okay. So pay attention to what I just said. So, that little phrase, it is better to give than to receive, but that is not necessarily the case here of what I'm feeling. I feel like you need to be able to learn how to receive as well. All right. Somebody could be seeing synchronicities around like simple coins. I use this as an example sometimes. You ever like open up your card and all of a sudden you see like a bunch of change laying on the ground? It's like somebody deliberately put that change there. I don't believe in coincidences, okay? It ain't that they didn't want to change, okay? For whatever reason they left it, the universe said, I want you to find it. So somebody could be, you may have come into a situation where that happened for you, okay? We could also be talking like, feathers, earth signs, earth tones, that type of situation here, okay? All right. We're moving on into the recent past. All right, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Cool card. This is a seed that you had planted. Okay, we could be talking about like a job opportunity, or even the connection that you're trying to manifest, something like that. But definitely a new opportunity, a divine, a promising romantic beginning. That feels very grounded. For others, it could have been that job offer or that financial opportunity that finally just the door opens, right? It's a message that you're going to receive, a text. Hey, you got the job. Boom. What do you think? So it could also talk about like that flirtation that felt totally different. Okay. So hopefully this is lightening up your heart. All right. This is a chance to rebuild something new. This could be talking about, like I said, if you've built a small business or something like that. It's new clients. It's a new income stream. Others. It talks about maybe relocation. Or just that fucking spark of hope, right? After like this dry spell or something. It could represent like a gift or an unexpected money, something like that. But I don't know. For some of you, it could just be that it has that. I just felt like that was meant to be. You know what I mean? So pay attention to the synchronicities. Definitely 222. Recognize those numbers. Like I said, I don't believe in coincidences here. So the synchronicities that represents alignment. So also, like for some people, the spirit animal, like the butterfly, representing the transition or something like that. Okay, transformation. So anyway, we could be talking about maybe 1 week, to maybe up to 2 months. That might be a significant time frame for somebody in this situation. All right, we're going to move on now into the possibilities. All right, Taurus, we have the King of Cups. Okay, this is representing emotional maturity here. Okay, someone who feels deeply, but they may not always, show it. Okay, this could definitely represent a love offer for someone. Okay, someone who's finally going to express, those deep feelings that you've been needing. You need to hear that. It's confirmation, clarity. If we're talking about a masculine, it could look like the masculine is definitely becoming emotionally available, and you'll be able to sense that, recognize it. If we're talking about the feminine energy, it's like the softening, the opening up. I don't know, somebody confessing that they miss the hell out of you. It could look like that heart to heart conversation. Anything from, a romantic gesture, definitely like a healing moment, a soulmate level, a type emotional bond here for some of you. Okay, this is the partner who listens. Not just reacts to everything. So you feel seen, you feel heard, right? For some of you, we could be talking about synchronicities of like the number 555 that represents emotional breakthroughs. For some of you, maybe like a spirit animal of like the cardinal, the red cardinal or something like that. Also, we could be talking about like Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces here season. That might be important to some of you. Could be dealing with those in your timeline. Okay, we're moving on into the near future. All right, look, this is the big one. I'm going to hold your hand though. Check it out. It's not about what you think. This is about a sudden shift about to take place. That's the near future, okay? Um, we're talking about a moment that changes the trajectory of your life, okay? This is for your favor, right? This is the breakup or the separation that sets you free. Now that breakup or separation doesn't have to necessarily talk about relationships, as you know. It could just be separating yourself from a job, separating yourself from those toxic, you know, uh, you know, I don't know, friendships or whatever that whatever that implies for you here. But we're talking about this is a confession, that shocks the shit out of people. And it could be your confession to someone, right? Someone's mask is finally falling off. The job ending, like I said, a move or a relocation. Um, I don't know, but it does have the energy of like a sudden emotional type of realization of some type, maybe. Like I said, that third party collapsing. This could be like a very eye opening text or a call that comes through, a truth that you definitely needed, but I feel like it's totally in the unexpected department here, okay? So as far as synchronicities are concerned, you could be recognizing numbers like 999, seeing license plates with that on the back of it. Pay attention to the synchronicities. There are no coincidences, okay? That represents completion. A phase is over, something's done. So as far as timing, we could be looking at anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks. Those could be major dates for somebody here, okay? All right, we're going to move on into the self, right? You're reclaiming your fire here, Taurus. This is your confidence, your desire. You're flirting again, right? You're posting thirst traps, or glow up photos. Check me out. Look at me. I look good. I feel good. Nothing wrong with that. All right. This is definitely that attracting attention, effortlessly card. You're ready for some adventure, and why not, right? You're tired of waiting. I want some passion. I want some sex, whatever. I want to take a risk. I'm saying yes to new experiences. Okay. This era of your life is like, I am so fucking done playing small here. You know what I mean? Synchronicities could look like anything from like 1111. Manifestation. This is the time where you're choosing those things that you want to see come into your life. So, passion, awakening. All right. Definitely lower chakra energy here. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to look at the environment around you. We got the Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment, emotional satisfaction. We just saw that with the Knight of Wands. Taurus, if you've stuck with me, this is something that you have wanted, okay, that is coming towards you. I felt like that manifestation was in the last part of that card there. So this is someone finally giving you the attention that you deserve. A romantic type wish, that's finally going to come into your direction. It could even look like that. Excuse me, that financial blessing. I'm going to have to get a drink of coffee here. My throat's clearing up. I said clearing up. It's going to clear up once I drink it. Here we go. Excuse me. Yeah. This is, the message that comes through. Definitely your glow up moment, right? A reconciliation. It could look like anything from a personal victory that you've overcome some particular obstacle. Okay. But definitely emotional peace here. Signs could look like, I don't know, 777, representing, obviously luck, right? For others, it could look like maybe seeing feathers, or, you hear a song, something about a wish being true or something like that. Just pay attention to your synchronicities. Anything involving like luck or wishes or anything like that. So keep that in mind. All right. Hopes, fears, wishes, or worries, wheel of fortune. I told you things are changing here. You're hoping for the change, and no longer letting that fear of the unknown block you here. Okay. It's no more of the repeating old patterns. It's I don't have to hope for the financial improvement. I know it's coming. It's that confidence. you know you're losing the I have to control everything, the timing issues, everything, hoping someone chooses you. It's not dealing with the karmic cycle patterns. I'm moving out in a way. This is the breakthrough. Fuck that disappointment time. Okay, this is divine timing right here. Okay, synchronicities around this card is 1010. Right, talks about divine timing, brand new door. Speaking of doors, you could be seeing signs like, you know I can't find my keys in my damn purse. I know they're in there. For some of you, this may apply. I've locked the keys in my car. Not a negative thing. It's the universe saying, hey, remember, I told you things are about to change. All right. So now we're going to talk about the outcome. We got the Nine of Wands. This part's tender, but very powerful. This sums up your reading. You're tired. You're not giving up. You're protecting your heart. You're moving forward. You're cautious with love, but you are open. Healing from the past. You've set boundaries. That's what this represents. Okay. You're not letting fear stop you any longer. Taurus, this is finishing a long chapter of your life. Okay. So definitely emotional resilient. You're stepping into this new cycle with a hell of a lot of wisdom. Okay. As far as any synchronicities are concerned, 777, 444, representing, luck, protection. So your intuition's definitely, definitely guided you here. And this is why you're seeing this reading. It's about emotional release, sudden clarity. You're stepping out of a chapter of your life where you carried hella much. This is the tower showing that breakthrough. Something's definitely shifting in your favor. You have the wheel of fortune. Okay. um, this is the version of yourself that's confident, magnetic, and very aware. Okay. So we're also looking at the King of Cups, right? That's got the possibilities, um, about that emotional maturity, that person that's finally going to step up and realize just how powerful you are. You may have to give them a little bit of space, okay? Because I feel like they're just trying to match your energy as well. So anyway, Taurus, I love you. I hope you got some understanding, maybe some clarity, maybe a breakthrough. If you did, would you give it a thumbs up? Let me know. Anyway, I'd appreciate any comments you have. I hope you're enjoying the readings. If you are, let me know, would you? Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that, and hopefully we'll see you on the next reading. So, all right, bye bye.